Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Madisonville Marine. Downtown Knoxville Boat Show wraps up today at the Knoxville Convention Center. Get over there, folks. Get there this afternoon. Drop in. See it for yourself. Steve, Joe, the whole crew from Madisonville Marine will be there with a ton of boats and just the best deals you'll ever find. Madisonville Marine, I always tell you there's no place to buy a boat. That's especially true when they're here in Knoxville. When they come to you, the greater Knoxville, the downtown Knoxville Boat Show today, at the Knoxville Convention Center. I'll get it right. I just have to look at my notes. Madisonville Marine. All right. This is a wild card segment. Jump in wherever you like in terms of the defense, things we haven't covered yet. I mentioned Jeremy Banks. Jeremy Pruitt was on the radio with you on Sports Talk, Jimmy, a couple months ago. I listened to it. Sounded like a coach who's going to let the guy come back to his team, to me. And Jeremy Banks continues to tweet and social media like he's going to be back. What's the latest, though, in terms of that being locked up?
I was told in mid-January that he was enrolled at the University of Tennessee, so I decided to check a couple of days ago to get a status update. Is he back on the team, whatever. He's not back on the team. And then I was told he's not even enrolled at Tennessee, but I was told he's taking online classes. Maybe he's taking online classes at Pellissippi, or maybe he's taking them online at Tennessee and it didn't show up some way. But anyway, I was told he's not even enrolled at Tennessee right now.
Interesting. Well, that doesn't make it sound like he's a definite to come back. David, any thoughts on Jeremy Banks?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously we've talked about it, the holes at middle linebacker. They could obviously use him there. But if you're put on tape doing the kind of things, where he's sort of harassing a woman and threatening police and those kind of things, that's a long road back. It's a little bit different than people want to compare it to the Juwan Jennings situation, but going on, social media and saying that your coach has lied when your coach has lied to you, it's a different deal than doing what Jeremy Banks did. So it's just not similar at all, and so it's it's a difficult situation because on the one hand, you want to be a program that's about the right things, but on the other hand, if you're a guy like Jeremy Pruitt who invested a lot of time and does, obviously you saw in the police, he in the police tape, he does care about Jeremy Banks. If he doesn't have football, what happens to him here? I think sometimes coaches can use that as an excuse, but a lot of times it's true. So there's no real good option there if you're Jeremy Pruitt.
All right. Chuck, I'm going to let you go with this next question. You're over there next to the entire defensive wipey board over there. Do you feel better about the front seven or the secondary? In terms of comparing it to last year, you feel better about front seven or the secondary?
Well, I feel better about the defensive front. The linebackers, you've got some question marks, but you think you have talent. I feel better right now about the talent in the secondary because I think you've got more really good athletes there, and you've got a lot of positions here that you're going to have people that haven't played as much as you have in the other groups.
Okay. Josh, I'll let you answer the same question here. You feel better about your secondary? You feel better about their front seven on defense?
I would say I feel better right now about the defensive line, what they have up front, because of, I guess, just the proven numbers of guys that they can rely on. I feel better about the potential of the secondary of Taylor, Thompson, McCullough, Solomon he has elite speed. If those guys can develop, I would feel better about the potential for more playmaking.
Yeah, I do feel better. I mean, you look at the difference the defensive line made. I feel better about that group, especially you're getting a guy back that's that was one supposedly the starter and the guy that won the job. And I also feel better about your pass rush this year. Last year you had one guy, you had Taylor, and then it was Taylor in a couple of games that could actually do anything. The rest of the time he disappeared. I feel like you've got a better group of guys that can be more consistent in pass rush from the outside linebacker position than you were last year. And so I feel better about the front seven right now going into the season than I do the secondary.
Okay. Agree, disagree?
Yeah, I think that defensive line, I think people underestimate the value of, and you look at that list, that's like 9 guys.
Let's go ahead and take a look at that if we can.
Yeah, 9 guys, and all those guys played good chunks of snaps last year, and all those guys are in off-season. All those guys are going to be in spring. All those guys are going to be in preseason camp. That's a lot of experience, and that is a lot of guys that can, if 1 or 2 of those guys can go from being pretty good to really good, you can really have an above average to maybe, a great defensive line come fall.
I'm going to go front seven, but I'm also going to add that I don't know if Brumbaugh can get out of this defensive line what Rocker got out of him. I thought Rocker did a heck of a job.
Yeah, he did.
So I think that's going to be a challenge because, as you said, they're not a lot of stars up there, but they played really well. So can Brumbaugh get out of that defensive line what Rocker did.
Well, go online. Brumbaugh is the greatest coach in America, and Tracy Rocker was awful. That's all I see. So we shall see. Everybody's, if they lost to Indiana, that would be a terrible change in the coaching position. But they beat Indiana, so everybody's all on board with anything Jeremy Pruitt does right now. And Rocker, get out of here. Brumbaugh, we all wanted Jimmy Brumbaugh. Fans love him. They've been campaigning for hours. Brumbaugh fever. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk about the Vols in Nashville in the SEC tournament, and then we're going to come back and do this whole thing over again with the offensive side of the football. Come on back on the Sports Source.